It's YouTube, baby. So I just want to talk about the Olympics really quick because I wanted to watch the triathlon this time around. And have you heard all of the terrible literal shit that's going on with that?
Um, People are getting sick in the river or something, right?
Yeah, well, because France was like, "Ooh, it'd be so cool if we let them swim in that stinky ass river," and then everyone with half a brain, even like, and when I say France, I mean the people setting it up because the French folks are like, this is a terrible idea. Like this is a terrible idea because there are literal shit in our water, and then we have how you say dead bodies in the water also, and
What?
so yeah, that's what someone said in the like one of the comments. They're like, there's been so many cadavers that just like bodies have just been lost in this thing that's another one of the reasons, not just shit. And so they couldn't like they couldn't prep for any of the swimming portion because they'd get sick because the E. coli levels were too high. And so then finally they did it, like, and then I think it was the Belgium racer. 3 days later, he's now sick as a dog, and then they're going to be doing like the triathlon relay, and the, the Belgian people are like, "Yeah, we aren't doing this at all now, guys."
Are they gonna move it or is it just
I think they're just going to do it. See, that's the joys of being the I don't know if the American won or not, but being the American in this, because like if you eat romaine lettuce enough, you're getting a lot of E. coli. So like they've got that immune built up already.
yeah.
Because there one lady, no joke, she was talking about when she was running, she was like pumping herself full of antibiotics before it even started.
Well, I don't blame them. I mean,
Yeah,
why risk it over something dumb like that?
it's just crazy. It's just like, why? Because I get the athletes wanting to do it just because it's like you've been training for four to, however many years getting ready for this. But it's like, how stupid are the people setting this damn thing up that they're like, let's just toss them in the old shit river. It's like when Bree comes over and I've not cleaned my house, I'm just like, let's put it all in the closet. I have to make sure she doesn't open it.
Here's a question. If let's say you could go into like the hyperbolic time chamber and you could train for any Olympic sport to get good at, and you've got like 20 years in the chamber to do it, what sport would you want to do?
I mean, okay. So for me, I probably would want to do triathlon just because I want to do the Ironman. And if I got like fucking elite at that, that'd be pretty sweet. But then at the same time, I'm thinking, I'm like, I should just choose just a single swim, like a swimming event because it's like, or a gymnastics one because it's like, oh yeah, look at this. I now have 30 gold medals after one Olympics.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, man?
Well, I think one that I'm going with one where I'm okay at the event already, and that's archery.
Okay.
I feel like if I could just if training archery was my job, I think that that's the best shot I have at winning a medal.
I'm gonna say this though, the because the South Koreans just destroyed, and I heard something funny on that podcast I was telling you about. They say it's harder to be on the South Korean team than it is to win gold because that's how good the people on the South Korean team are.
Man, that's awesome though.
I figured you were gonna say skeet shooting because I remember you used to be a shooter too back in the day.
Yeah, but I don't really like to shoot shotguns.
Oh, okay. I
So,
gotcha.
I mean like just in general marksmanship, like if it were rifles or pistols, then I would too. Yeah,
You'd be
but
like you'd be like the old dude that won silver, the turkey dude.
hmm
This that dude was fucking awesome.
yeah. I think everybody that competed in that just looked cool.
Yeah.
Tons and tons of memes already. Everyone's already seen them, but pretty much all of those competitors have been drawn as anime characters because of their aura.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, and then I gotta talk about the rugby sevens. I didn't see I've not seen any clips of the dudes games, but I hear those were awesome too. But the girls just beat the shit out of each other. It was awesome.
that's awesome.
Like there's when the American team won the gold, like the play that saved it. It's like there's this girl that she keeps popping up on my Instagram and she's becoming like viral in the thing, but she's a rugby player and she was running, she was trucking along, and she had the ball, and this one person like is coming up and she sees them, so she kind of slows down a little bit and then just boom knocks them on their ass and then just takes off full sprint and scores the winning point.
That's so dope. I'd hate to be the one that got laid out.
Right. And then someone I was talking about that on Instagram too, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen this girl? She's going viral, blah, blah." And they're like, "Well, that's not the rugby girl I'm talking about." And then like he cuts to this New Zealand rugby girl who just like it's just showing her highlights and she's just beating the fuck out of these girls. Like one girl tried to jump on her to stop her and she just kept trucking. It's like at first I was like this girl's like the American girl is like a freight train, but then I'm like, no, that's the freight train.
Yeah. We love you, the train. All right. Ready for the episode?
Yeah, man, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually rooting for Team America for the basketball? Because I'll be honest, I would love it if they choked.
I mean, I've been watching most of their games just because I know most of them.
Yeah.
Um, but somebody, I forget who it was, somebody was making fun of Embiid, and I thought that was really funny. So,
Yeah. I can't. It's like Embiid, LeBron, Anthony Davis. It's like, boy, you guys are giving me a list of people that I just don't like.
yeah.
Go Canada. That's what I'm rooting for.
All right. Here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Two Worlds podcast. I'm Jake, and with me, as always, is the Will to my lion cat. It's Casey. What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. What's up with you?
Doing all right?
Nice. The so really quick before I forget, there's a couple things I want to mention. Super 7 is having a not a sale, but they're selling their San Diego Comic-Con stuff. So if you use our link and go look at that, they got some Voltron, and they also have some like a really cool Lion-O. I think maybe it was Lion-O's daddy. I don't fucking know, but big old kitty cat boy. I think that's his name. And
Yeah.
then they also have some other stuff. They have some really cool GI Joe. Power like Zor the oh, what's his name? The main bad guy in Power Rangers, not Lord Zed.
Okay.
Yeah, Lord, a really cool looking Lord Zed. Lots of cool shit. Starting to sell out. A lot of turtles too, with stuff selling out. Like they had this really cool um turtles that was like a the car, but it was like before they turned it into the turtle mobile, it was like the pizza mobile. They had that $450 already sold out.
Man, good for them. Good for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
All righty. Well, let's get over to our YouTube comments. We've got some. The one is on our Deadpool and Wolverine review. I'm not going to read that just because I don't want to spoil anything for those that still haven't seen it. But I appreciate the comment, Nick. I'll say this: he did give it an 8 out of 10, so that's safe to say.
Yeah.
which I think is a pretty fair
I mean,
number.
it's close to what we did because I think because we did out of five. I think I did three. You did 3.5. So it's just like it keeps going. Preston will be like, "Well, guys, I'm at 8.5."
I'm just glad everyone's enjoying it. It's
Yeah,
nice. It's nice to have another movie again where pretty much everyone's liking it.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, since so many people have seen it though, like if you go on Twitter, there will be the random person that like, you know, oh, you hated it, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're like, it's soulless. It's like, well, yeah, it's a Disney Marvel movie. What do you expect?
Thought this one would be different.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got two comments on last week's video. First one is from Eric. He says, "You forgot about the new Justice League Unlimited comic coming in November. The Justice League is back with the creative team of Mark Waid and Dan Mora. Can't wait for it." We did forget about that. But I think we're both probably excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's hard for me to get excited about cartoon universe comics usually, unless it's like COVID times and then we're like just starved.
Yeah.
But that one and then like that one I would have been kind of like, I'm not really excited, but as soon as I saw that creative team on that book, I'm like, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So I might have to
Agreed.
check it out.
And then the other one is from Nick. He says, "My Fantastic Four cameos that I would like to see would be the little girl that played Tony Stark's daughter as Doom's daughter, any Punisher, Jeffrey Combs as a Doctor Strange character, and James Marsden Cyclops. I'm not sure if any of those would make sense, but that's what I want. The thing from Comic-Con that stood out for me, besides Doom, was the Creature Commandos. And as a big Creature Commandos fan, I'm very upset at how bad it looks, and even more upset that I'm probably going to watch it anyway. Boy, if that's not a fan. Um, and he said, "I'm gonna buy a lot of stuff from Super 7, but I really like their weirdest line and their worst line." And for the record, I'm on volume 11 of 13 of IDW TMNT, and you guys would like it. It's just like you said, there's a lot, and if you'd have to make, sorry, I can't read. It's just like you said, there's a lot of it, and you'd have to make time for 13 volumes. But it does put a different perspective on The Last Ronin because this is supposed to be the same universe, I think, and it's definitely written like a lighter version of that. So there you go.
Yeah, and I will say, so I heard a rumor. I don't know, I mean, it's just a rumor, but the whole thing that Doom's gonna be doing in Doom War is he's gonna try to make Battle World a thing. So any of the cameos that he said very well could happen,
Mm-hmm.
very much just because they want that money.
They do, yeah. Um, but yeah, I definitely do want to read that turtle stuff sometime,
Hmm.
especially hearing it sold as like a lighter version of Last Ronin sounds pretty
Yeah.
awesome, honestly. Um, and yeah, I still haven't watched the Creature Commandos thing that they posted, but I imagine I'll end up watching that at some point anyways.
Speaking of watching things, have you watched the new Batman animated series yet? The
Is that Cape Crusader?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
I've watched a few episodes and I need to rewatch them because it was kind of like I was half watching, half doing other things. But it's not bad. It does give you the vibe of the animated series, like the original, but kind of like darker. Like people are getting killed, basically is the big difference. But it's really low stakes compared to what we're used to, and I love that. Like
Mm-hmm.
Ping like the big thing, and this isn't really a spoiler, is like Penguin had a gun that could destroy a building. That's like the level, like that was like the next one. It was like there was a person killing people. I'm not gonna say who the person was, but There's a person that was killing people. Catwoman's Robin's people. It's just like little shit
Yeah,
that I'm like, yeah, this would be great in a movie instead of just being like, no, no, the White House is destroyed.
sure. What's it on? Is it on Max?
No, Prime.
Prime, okay. Cool. I'll have to give it a watch then. I do miss watching a Batman cartoon.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. And Dietrich Bader does a good Harvey Dent. I'm excited to hear him do Two-Face.
Nice. All right. On to the news. Pretty piss poor news week following San Diego, but we've got a couple of things. I'll start us off. So, the original art for the cover of New Mutants 98, which is Deadpool's first appearance, is at auction right now. Any guesses what you could buy it for, Casey?
I'm just gonna say 30,000. Too low, right?
Yep.
Like 100?
$7.5 million.
Dang. They've already outbidded me then.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry to laugh at your first guess, but
I
the
mean, it's fair,
contrast
man.
is crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like we've talked about that with other shit before. It's like I get it, but whatever. I
Yeah.
hope I hope the original art that's being sold though, like it's actually like Rob Liefeld that's selling it, and it's not just some random collector though.
See, I wondered that too, and I couldn't find the info on that.
Yeah, I hope it. I like I said, I hope it is because that making that kind of money, I'm just always gonna root for the creator versus just a random collector, unless the collector's me, and then it's like, no, no, I want the money.
The thing is, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest Rob fan, like in general,
Hmm.
but gosh, if I sold a piece of art like that for 7.5 mil, I'd be like, hey, Rob, here's $1 million.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know.
yeah,
It does feel kind of weird selling something like that if the person's still alive and then they not see one single dime of that.
right.
Because he probably sold it for like fucking 5 grand 20 years ago. You know what I mean?
Dude, I doubt it was even that much. I bet it was a couple
Yeah,
$100, you
yeah,
know?
probably so. Um, okay. So last night was the season finale of House of the Dragon season 2. And the season was okay. Wasn't as good as the first season. And the last episode was really just a 70-minute trailer for the next season, which was kind of a bummer, but still got to see some cool stuff. Anyway, during that, we got a teaser trailer for the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show. So I am very, very excited for that spinoff. We'll be getting that next year. Um, so I'll definitely have to reread that book before that comes out to freshen up on it. But it looked good from the few seconds of teaser we got. And then the showrunner of House of the Dragon today confirmed that the show is ending after season 4, which I think makes sense based on what I know is still left to come from that story. It's like, yeah, 2 seasons is probably enough to wrap that up. So yeah, there you go.
Right on. So I got a really quick piece of news that I just remembered that I saw on the old Twitter, and I was gonna share it with mostly just this is like for Jake, but JM DeMatteis had posted like he retweeted a thing and he's like, is this real? And DC is going to be doing an omnibus of his Dr. Fate
No shit.
that it's supposed to be coming out, I think, in 2025. Double check that for me. But yeah, so he's gonna be so he I mean he didn't know shit about it, so I don't know if he gets a lot of residuals off of it, but I was like, yeah, that's still something Jake wants to know about because he's gonna have to put that in the shop.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have to put that on his bookshelf too.
Yeah, I figured.
That's awesome news. I hope that is true. And I also hope that JM does get some money for that.
Yeah. There's a whole like if you can find if I might be able to find the tweet a little bit later after I'm done talking, but I'll send it to you because like that those people like that originally posted all of the upcoming omnibuses, and there's some where like I'm like, oh, this is pretty neat that they're releasing this, type of thing.
I just found the tweet and it is
Okay.
real.
Okay. Awesome.
It's gonna come out in May. Man, that is so cool. That is so cool. I'm glad that they're giving Fate some love.
Yeah.
So,
I have a feeling too, if you guys are interested, hop on it because they'll probably go normal value and then there'll be like a brief time where it's like on sale and then you won't be able to find it and the prices will be like, three times what it was when it originally came out.
yeah, this is one that I'm surprised they're doing. And I really don't know that they'll put this in print ever again, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
So,
Unless it does amazing, unless it gets that two worlds bump.
yeah, for sure. It's a great Dr. Fate series, though. I read all of it in singles.
I remember you had me read it in singles too.
Yeah, but it was funny. The art was cool, and I really did like that dynamic of the two of them being Dr. Fate. So, all right. Um, all right, Amazon and the Games Workshop are supposedly not seeing super eye to eye on their Warhammer properties. So, uh, I hope they get it figured out. Their contract is up in December. So hopefully they either get an extension or come to some sort of agreement so that Henry Cavill can fulfill his dream. Because if he gets fucked out of this other nerdy property, I think people are going to riot on his behalf.
Yeah, right. All right. Speaking of Amazon, I think you might be pretty excited about this, or you might be like, "Oh, this is gonna be really bad." But Amazon's greenlit a live action Voltron movie.
I want to be excited for it, you
Yeah.
know? I think a lot could go wrong there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the chance to see just Voltron in action, live action, is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm just like, this is another one similar to my opinions on the Green Lantern show, where I'm like, it's really special effects heavy for a streaming show.
Yep, for
Like
sure.
we'll probably get like 5 episodes in a season, and the fifth episode they'll show Voltron.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that could be, especially if they follow like that Netflix show that was out a few years ago that was really good. I liked it, but you didn't get Voltron right away. So
Yeah.
I don't
Now, was that one kind of a sequel, like to the original, or no?
know.
Or was that the other one that was on like it was like a Saturday morning cartoon one that was
That
when
was
we were
another one.
kids?
This one was like a reimagining almost,
I
but
gotcha.
I don't know. Some diehards really did not like it. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Well, this is like we've talked about this before too, but Xander Cannon actually mentioned this on Twitter because he was writing a Transformers comic book, and he wrote it very much like the original cartoon. And that's what he was going for, was to make it kiddie because that's what the original cartoon was. And the diehard Transformers fans who all have grown up are like, "This is some kid bullshit. We hate this." And it's like, well, it's not for you anymore. It's for children.
Yeah. I mean, they can't expect a group of kids getting robot space lions to be
Hmm.
adult too much, you know?
Yeah.
That's just not going to
Yep.
happen.
I'll do my last bit of news because I think yours is a little bit bigger punch, and you kind
Yeah.
of punched me to it because I saw it too. And I was like, I don't know really how to type this one out, so I'm glad you did it. But we're getting an Evil Dead animated show. I don't really know. I didn't see anything else on it except for Bruce Campbell's returning as Ash. So I kind of hope it's like a sequel to Ash versus Evil Dead.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty neat. I'd be curious if they try to connect the other two Evil Deads to this, type of thing, because Nick explained it to me with the remember in Army of Darkness where there's three Necronomicons?
Hmm.
So there's the one for that story, then the other two like were used in the other two Evil Deads. Like there was that Evil Dead that came out like 2 years ago, and then there's the one that came out when I was in college. It was that one, like so each of those different books are doing that, so they try to connect it that way or something. I don't know. But they're
That could
it's just
work.
yeah, it'd be neat.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's cool. That's actually a show that I'd probably check out too.
Same.
All right, last bit of news. Definitely the biggest news of the week. Um, Colin Kaepernick, everyone's favorite ex-quarterback, raised $4 million to invest into an artificial intelligence powered comics making service. Um, he tried to pitch it as if you have an idea for a story or you're a writer, but you're not good enough to draw your own comic and you can't afford an artist, you should just use AI for the art. And if you can imagine, Casey, pretty much every professional in the comics industry has come out on this story and voiced their opinion of how either straight up pissed off or extremely disappointed they are in Colin Kaepernick for doing this. Um, and I think that's justified. Nobody should want that. Nobody
But
should want that.
but I'm really not surprised. I mean,
No,
I'm just gonna say this, like he's doing something that's gonna make him a lot of money. Just like
maybe.
it's AI. I have a feeling it's gonna in the short term make him a lot of money, but he likes to talk like he's doing this for these people and blah blah blah. It's like, no, you're doing it because you're gonna make a quick buck and then you'll move on to the next thing. Like that's what you've been doing.
Yeah,
Like when you weren't good enough to play in the NFL, you were like, I'm gonna be mad about the fact that I was raised by white parents and um I've never been treated bad by a police officer in my life, but police brutality. And then everyone's like, this guy, he deserves money. And then this is what he does with it.
yep. We're gonna make some AI comics. I don't know. Hopefully this gains no traction and it doesn't make any money
Yeah.
because holy shit, like the comics industry continues to catch strays, man. And this is just another one on the list.
I just thought something hilarious though. How funny would it be if the comic skaters got really into it? So then like we got Colin Kaepernick presents these like really racist comic books.
Oh, that's horrible. Gosh,
Uh,
that would be the group that snatches onto this idea.
yeah. Though I mean it's like the one thing that I'd be like, even they I don't think would because their main guy is an artist,
Hmm.
and he at least pays his artists that come on and do variant covers. So
It's true. It's true. Say what you want about him, at least he pays people.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for the news, man. So what'd you read?
All right. So I read Fantastic Four issue 22, Super Pet Special Bite Identity Crisis. The rape scene in this was just terrible. Hellverine issue 3, Godzilla Rivals versus Amanda, one shot, and Saga 67. What about you, man?
I read a lot more than you, I
I
think.
know this was a light week for me.
All right, Saga 67, Godzilla Rivals versus Manda. What if Donald Duck became Wolverine? Grommets number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog 71, William of Newbury number 3, and Immortal Thor number 13.
Nice. Let's you
All
go
right.
first. When you mentioned the Donald one, I was like, what if Donald, my first brain, my brain was like Donald Trump became Thor?
Well, it's Wolverine, so you're way off
Yeah,
on
I
multiple
know. Well,
fronts.
because I saw an advertisement. Now I'm
No, it
this
is. The next
okay. The
one. The
next
next
one
one is
is
Thor.
the
Yeah.
Thor. So yeah. Well, now just think about Donald Trump with the hair and like smoke a cigar. He's like, I'm the best at what I do.
Okay, so I will start with Immortal Thor 13. We've got this amazing Alex Ross cover.
That is awesome. I would buy that as a print.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And guess what, man? Hercules is in the whole fucking thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Is he well written?
Um,
The
he's all right.
pause the pause is kind of upsetting.
He's all right. He's all right. I don't think you would love it personally.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also it's not the worst Herc I've read. We both know what is. You know what's a shame though about that Hercules series is that Clay Mann did the art, or at least the covers, and
Yeah.
it's so good looking.
The covers are amazing. And then like, I mean, hell, Dan Abnett, because it's Dan Abnett, right? That did
Yeah.
that one. Okay. So I get him and what's his, Dan Abnett, Andy Lanning. I get them mixed up, but he's a really good writer. But it was just like, boy, this is bad. Not as bad as that other Hercules book that I read though.
Which one?
So it would have been like I think his series after Prince of Power, but then before the Van Lint and Greg Pak one. Because it
Okay.
was like they
I
tried to
can't
do this.
even place that one right now.
Yeah, I mean, I bought the singles from your shop,
God bless.
and and the covers are pretty dope, but it's the word like it's like everything Dan Abnett was trying to do, but worse yet.
Huh. So prob okay, so not wait, the 2005 one, Frank Thierry.
I think that was it.
The first issue is him doing this with lightning behind him.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, those covers are pretty great. It's a shame it
Yeah,
sucked.
yeah. It's just like him being like a proper alcoholic and like drunk, and he tries to go to AA, and it's the same shit that Dan Abnett's doing, but it's like even worse.
All right. So this is by Al Ewing with art by Jan Bazaldua. So yeah, it's a pretty neat story. You're gonna laugh at this though. I don't know why Hercules is wearing this the first time you see him,
He
but
looks like he's a lifeguard.
he does. He's got like the phone pouch on his belt,
Yeah,
the dad. He looks like
yeah.
a dad lifeguard. But anyway, this whole issue is just Thor and Loki and Hercules teaming up to fight Nyx, the goddess of darkness, and her evil children. There was one super cool part. The two children have Loki like down on his knees between them, and one of them slits Loki's throat. I was like, oh shit, that's pretty intense. And then the next panel, Loki does his illusion thing and he's one of the kids, and it turns out the other kids slit their sibling's throat with a
Oh,
knife. I was
damn.
like, holy shit, that was fucking cool. Um, so yeah, anyway, all that happens, and then at the end, Zeus comes down from the sky, and he's like, Hercules, your father would have words. And then it's said to be continued. I don't like how Zeus looks in this. It's just like he's just like an energy. He's like blue
Yeah.
Superman almost. It's just not very good in my opinion, but story was neat enough. So it's always nice to have a Thor and Hercules crossover. I feel like it has to happen once per Thor series. It doesn't always, but I think it should. So
And old Donald Cates never did he?
no, I feel like it would have happened if Donnie didn't have his accident and could have kept going, because that
Yeah.
series was fucking awesome. So
Hmm.
anyway, I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Nice. I was hoping it was gonna be better for you because I was excited for some Hercules coming back, but also I know how Al Ewing writes Hercules.
Yeah, and also it was a guest artist, and the art just wasn't my favorite.
I gotcha. I'll let you do another one because I've
Oh
only
yeah,
got
yeah.
I've got I think three besides our two Muchis.
Okay. Um, all right, so I'll do William of Newbury here. It's by Michael Avon Oeming. I won't say too much on this. I think I'm the only one that's reading it, but it's fun. There's a cool exorcism and fight, and William and his little companion get captured multiple times. And I don't know. It's just fun, man. It really is just Hellboy meets Redwall, and I like it. It's an 8 out of 10.
Nice, dude. All right. I'll hippity hop over to Fantastic Four. I'm probably gonna give this book just one more because it's like the Blood Hunt tie-in. So I'm like, I'm not gonna drop it at this, but Fantastic Four 22 by Ryan North and Ivan Fiorelli on the art. Um, yeah, they're fighting the vampires still. It is what it is. Yeah, you got Reed doing some cool stretchy stuff. Like Ryan North and Ivan do a really good job of like using Reed's powers in new ways. That's pretty neat. And then the the Thing and Johnny and Invisible Woman are saving people around their town in Arizona. And yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just like such a chatty book, and the dialogue is not. It's just like more over explaining than anything else, and I'm really not feeling it. And then it ends. And I don't know if this is a spoiler for Blood Hunt, but Doom has said he is the one that brought the sun back. So we'll see how that goes. They're like Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, like I said, I'm close to dropping this. I'm probably at a five.
All right. I will do Sonic the Hedgehog 71. I think the cover is super cool.
Mm-hmm.
So he is, what's he going by? It's either like the Rogue or the Phantom. I think it's the Phantom Rider. But anyway, he's using that Dr. Eggman tech for all of these, like, sky races and stuff like that. Nobody knows it's him. I guess nobody thought, where's Sonic at during all
Yeah.
this? You know what I mean? But this is a comic for kids, so I'm not gonna really look into it that much. Um, but anyway, he gets hit during the race, and one of the bad guys sees a glimpse of his real face and finds out it's him, and he tells the possum, who is the big bad of this story arc, and the possum's like, okay, next race, take him out and bring him to me alive. So we'll see what happens there. Also, we're getting some character development for Surge the Finnick or Finrick. I forget what animal she's called, but anyway, some kid sees her during the race and is like, "You're awesome. I want to be like you when I grow up." And she's like, "Oh, maybe being an idol isn't so bad after all." So I think she's probably gonna become a good guy at some point, which is all fine and dandy. But I like this a lot. I really like this almost metal Sonic inspired racing suit or flying suit that Sonic is wearing. So I'll be a little sad when this art comes to an end and I don't get to see it anymore. But this is really cool. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
So how funny would it have been had they kept the mystery going? Because I was thinking about this. They kept the mystery going, like, oh, who's Sonic for another thing? And like, there was an issue specifically with like, my brain automatically goes Big the Cat.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got like the Sherlock Holmes hat and like the pipe, and he's like gonna figure out who the secret writer is. And then like he gets so close, he's like, oh, it's gonna be it's a hedgehog. And he does all that, and he's like, it's Amy.
What's funny is that Amy would be in the background the entire
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you could write Sonic. That's a legit thing that could happen and it would be amazing.
I mean, like, I don't know if because like my only Big the Cat reference is him going froggy, so I don't know if that would work with him, but
I mean,
somebody.
that's essentially what he's like in the comics too.
You want to do one more? Because like I said, I just got the two. Unless you got
Sure.
that you're naming off like a whole library when you were going.
Yeah, I've got two more other than our Mewtwo's.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Grommets number 3 by Rick Remender, Brian Posehn, and Brett Parson. It's a really good issue. They skip school, um, smoke a bunch of weed, go to an arcade, embarrass themselves in front of their crushes, and then get caught by one of their moms. So it's like every kid in the 80s like dream day essentially.
Yeah,
And then there's little bits of like, oh fuck, maybe I shouldn't smoke weed or blah 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 sprinkled throughout. So I don't know. It's just a good slice of life, coming of age story. And the art and colors are super killer, especially during the arcade scene. So I like it a lot. And this is one that I'm always looking forward to. So I'm going to give it a 9 as well.
nice. All right, so Super Pet Special Bite Identity Crisis. So the first one's going to be called The Super Pets and Pup Pup and Away by Tony Fleece with Mike Norton's art. I like the art in this a good bit. You get like Nightwing is dropping off his dog because he's got a wedding, and him and Barbara dropping off the dog at the Kint's farm, which it's like that's kind of out of the way, but whatever. And so the dog's there. Crypto's like basically like, hey, get in this barn, and they get in the barn, and it's like all type of tech, and then Bat Ace the Bat Hound is there, and he's all they get the whole Super Pets team. So it's you get Gleek, Random
Nice.
Squirrel, Bat Cow, Crypto, the Kangaroo, and yeah, they're all talking throughout this whole thing. Bitewing is like just barking, like all the other dogs are talking to each other. They mention they don't know English, so they're all just you'd assume are all barking too, but Bitewing's the only one that actually barks. It doesn't make any sense. And then they meet the guy that stole everything. They beat him, and then like after after a bit, Bitewing then is able to talk. Like this whole time she's like, "Oh, you're playing. You say good dogs help poor animals," and it goes back to barking. It's like, how the fuck does that make any sense?
It doesn't.
Yeah. And then the next one's a Starro story, and I couldn't even be bothered to care. I was like, it just didn't do much for me. It was by Alexis Casarano and PJ Holden, and it was like he's having a dream about being a celebrity. Yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea. Then we got a Michael W. Conrad story with Sammy Basri on the art, and they were going to be sending Damien and Bruce were going to be sending their animals to a nice farm upstate. And so it's like Bat Cow, Bat Cat, Bat Turkey, and Ace the Hound. They were all getting, but then they get stopped, and they have to fight off these people. And then it's also like Damien's dragons there, and so is that one big red monster guy.
Goliath.
Yeah, and so they beat them all up, and they get back to the cave, and Damien's all sad because he's like, turns out it wasn't a nice farm I was sending them to. And so then the animals are all like, I don't know if I can trust them. I have a feeling Ace would be, or it's Titus, sorry, not Ace. Titus is like looking at him, it's like he's probably the quickest one to start wagging his tail again because dogs are just better than all other animals. But the next one's a Dex Star story, and it's by Dan Waters with Christopher Mitten's art.
See
And
the
it's like,
Lantern Cat?
yeah.
Okay.
And so like they're telling this story about, oh, there's this red thing that was destroying stuff, and my planet got scared, and they were talking about leaving leaving something, like basically as a sacrifice because our planet's going to be destroyed, and they all left me here. I wonder if they knew they did that on purpose. And so then she's sitting there sad, and then Dexter comes up to her and starts, she's just in like pets and stuff. But he was the red thing that they were scared of. He's not so bad. He's probably going to push her off the side of a building though. And then the last one, it's so stupid. It's by Kyle Starks and Tom Napolitano on the art, and it's Who Woofs the Wolfman?
Dude, I read this one online. I think that's fantastic.
Like, it's just like everything Alan Moore is like, I just don't want them to cheapen my stuff and blah blah blah. It's like this is it. They did it.
Yep.
They did it the worst way possible. Yeah, it's quite the thing. So was this worth whatever it cost? No.
Casey, it was 50 cents.
It's 5.99. Maybe at 50 cents I'd be like, yeah, it was worth it. But it's not. I was hoping this was gonna be like that Marvel book that I love so much, and it's not even close. It's not very good. I'm gonna go probably a 4.
Well, are 3 of those points for the name of the book? Because I think it's a pretty great name.
I mean, I think it kind of is too, but at the same time, it's like, what if a kid was like, I love this. If this is anything like the real Identity Crisis, I'm picking it up. And he picks up the Identity Crisis. He's like, she was pregnant.
Oh, shit. All right. What if Donald Duck became Wolverine? Great cover. Looks just
Yeah,
like the Frank Miller #1. It's by Luca Barbieri with art by Giada Perisinoto. And it was a pretty fun book, honestly. I liked it. It's Donald as Wolverine being lazy and not being a hero. So Hawkeye Mickey comes and recruits him to help Hulk Goofy take down Pete Skull, which is just Pete as a Red Skull, and they're going to break into Scrooge's vault that Pete has stolen and return all of these superhero um, items to their rightful owners, essentially. So art's pretty good. There's this pretty cool page where it showed Donald in all the different Wolverine suits.
that is pretty sweet.
Yeah. I'm privy to the X-Force one up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing is like this was so much buildup for the final fight and the story to wrap up in the final 3 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bit of a letdown because it's like, man, 90% of this is leading up to this fight and then it's just over. And it's
Yeah.
just a one shot. Trying to find a picture um of Hulk Goofy. So I think you'll get a kick out of it.
I love the thought of the Red Skull one. Like they should have made it Walt Disney because that
Oh
would have been too
yeah.
far off.
Yeah. I know, right? Here. It's them being Patch and Mr. Fix
Oh,
It,
that's awesome.
but I think that that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um Gosh, and what was so like their character names are actually like Goofy Hulk and Mickey Hawkeye. Like that is their name in this, which was a little jarring at first, but then you just roll with it. But
Mm-hmm.
when it showed that panel, it was like That was the past. People used to call us Donald Patch and Mr. Goofy Fix It. And it's just like, boy, that is quite a mouthful, you know?
Yeah,
But anyway, it was still fun. It was a good time. I will be checking out What If Donald Became Thor because I have to. Um, but I'm not mad that I picked this up, and I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
right on, man. So while we're on the subject of, Wolverines, I got What If Donald Duck Became Helverine issue 3
Oh,
by
nice.
Vincent Percy and Julius Ota on the art. And yeah, so it picks up like right where the last one left off. We get more backstory on the main bad guy, Wolverine's killing these demon things. And it's pretty sweet. He gets on a motorbike because that's awesome. And then he finally gets to meet the Helverine, and he's like basically talking to the demons, like, "Ah, give me the power, go to me instead of my boy, my baby boy." He doesn't say that, but I just wanted him to. And then the demon's like, "Okay," and jumps into him, but then like Wolverine doesn't realize that with the demon leaving his baby boy's body and going into his, it's completely it's now re-killing his son. So next issue he's gonna have some issues with that, I bet. So I liked it. I'd probably be at an 8.
Okay, cool. Want to do Godzilla then Saga?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Godzilla Rivals versus Manda. Art and story by Jake Lawrence. Um, I thought this was a pretty neat story,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, I had some gripes, but I liked it. The art also makes me think of Bee and Puppy Cat. So like if you like that type of stuff, you'll enjoy it. If you don't, you just won't like it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think the art is charming, and I think like Godzilla and Manda both look good.
Hmm.
Um, but I was like,
Yeah, like
man, this looks
this
like, yeah,
that's great.
exactly. The whole time I'm reading it, I'm like, this looks like a Cartoon Network show. I
Hmm.
can't place which one, so I'm glad that you said Bee and Puppy Cat.
Yeah, it's like Bee and Puppy Cat Adventure Time, that type of stuff.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I didn't think the human stuff like leading up to them witnessing the fight was too bad. Like I thought it was
Yeah.
good enough for sure. Um, but yeah, then when it got to the action and like the cool lighting that was happening from the storm and stuff, I was like, man, this is pretty dope.
Yeah, it's like they kind of gave Manda a little bit too much power, but but I mean my main thing that kind of annoyed me is like it seemed like they tried really hard in like an earlier spot where it was like, and it's kind of makes me think of the show era too, where like there's some movies where they were like trying to shoehorn in something political, and then they just kind of drop it though. And so like they did the same thing, like, yeah, we're messing up our environment and we're overfishing, and then oh, giant monsters are fighting, let's drop it.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. How does it stack up to some of the other rivals you've read though?
uh so they've been kind, if I'm remembering right, they've been kind of on a roll with these last 2 or 3. They've actually been good. So many of them have been so good bad. Like they
Yeah.
went on like a streak of just being like, why am I paying for this?
Hmm.
Like why is Jake buying these in his shop? They're so bad.
For Casey, that's why.
But so I like this, and I mean it's one of those things where it's like you get someone that's competent with what they do, who's also a fan, you're gonna get something at the very least good. And I think this was damn near great.
Hmm.
So, and again, it's like its mileage may vary with the art. The story itself is good, but and like there's a few spots where like just them talking and and stuff where I'm like, this is going a little bit long. You could have cut the fat a little bit, but that's not that big of a deal. I'm probably at a 9. I enjoyed it.
Oh, nice. I was gonna say 7.5.
Yeah.
It's I'm standing by that Jake Lawrence is just Amanda fan,
Hmm.
and wanted to maybe make him a little more powerful than he should be, but
Yeah.
also it wouldn't be that great if we got that cool one-page splash and then Godzilla just like rips him in half and that was the whole
Yeah.
book. So,
Dude, you still need to see Godzilla or yeah, Godzilla X's Kong.
mhm.
You still need to see it because there's a monster in it that looks a lot like Manda, and it's fun. It's got a fun
Yeah.
little scene. Alrighty though. Saga 67 by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. Not gonna lie, man. The art's great, but I pretty much forgot what had happened last issue.
Well, how could you not? It's been forever.
It's been 2 years since the last issue.
It's like it came back, we got two issues, and then it went away for months.
Yeah.
So I get it. Um, I mean the story is really good.
Hmm.
Um, we're especially starting to get some serious development with Squire,
Yeah.
which is great. So also potential love interest for Alana? Question mark.
I think that's the person that called the will question mark.
Ooh, you think so?
That's automatically where my brain went. But like that's how bad this is as far as like forgetting things. I forgot the little girl, the Will's little girl died.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh shit, yeah, that happened.
See, my only thought was like, oh, Alana's gonna get attached to this guy, and then he's dead. He's for
Yeah.
sure gonna die.
You had the depressing Disney idea.
Yeah,
mine was the more comic booky way.
right. But it's good. I think, oh my gosh, Hazel?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think Hazel's funny, trying to convince this dolphin creature to do a trick for some sausages and it apparently having so much
Yeah.
diarrhea. Oh man. Also, Brian K. Vaughan making a sad at the very back. Did you read any of
No,
that?
I didn't.
His poor wiener dog, Hamburger K. Vaughan, has passed.
Aw.
I usually will read the letters in
Hmm.
Saga, but yeah, the first picture is of his other dog, Milkshake, who will be taking over Hamburger's duties. But then
Yeah.
the final page is a picture of Hamburger in a pile of fan mail, and I thought that that was super cute. So
Yeah.
very sorry to Brian over Hamburger, but yeah, man, this is good stuff. It's I'm not gonna give it a 10. I don't think it was a 10, but it was a 9, and still probably my pick of the week if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's probably my pick of the week too. It's probably a nine also. Like the long ass wait and then the story, like this is one of the problems I did have with the story is like we didn't get a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's like, oh, this is what's been happening. This is like the little bit. Like there's just not much that went on in that book, in it. So I'm like, well, it'd be cool if we got something to move stuff along a little bit better.
Yeah.
Since, this will be the only issue we get this year.
Well, so I on Friday's FOC, the next one was on there.
Okay,
So
well,
we at least get one more before the next
yeah.
hiatus.
Which I want to know. I know Brian's doing a lot, but I love Fiona's art. Like I think she's so talented. And it's like if they're not going to be doing this book all the time, I would love it if she was doing, something that wasn't Archie.
Yeah, I know. It makes me wonder because I like she's not doing other books. So it makes me wonder if she like writes in her free time or if she's just like, no, I'm just gonna make Saga like what I have of the script looked you know,
Yeah.
perfect.
Maybe she does a lot of cons too, and that's, supplementary income that way too.
Hmm.
Mm,
Well, I mean, it mentioned in the letters that a lot of her stuff goes on their merch.
I gotcha.
Um, and I doubt that she like runs their merch, but
Yeah.
they could be using some of her ideas for that stuff.
It's like Brian just opens up his basement and he's like, Fiona, more shirts.
Yeah, exactly.
But all right, man, what are you excited for in the coming week?
I'm gonna go with public domain number 7, Birds of Prey number 12, and probably like Daredevil,
Yeah,
also number 12.
I'll say I'm giving Uncanny X-Men a try, so that's on the old list for
Okay.
mine. Scarlet, because I've been really surprised how good that is. And then Godzilla, Here There Be Dragons 2, Sons of Giant 2. Or
So,
that wouldn't be issue 2, that would be issue 3, right?
mm-mm. Second issue.
Because it is? I thought that we already had a second issue.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
The
Maybe I'm
first one
mistaken.
was like that Asian story, right?
No, no, the first one was I thought the first one was the one that had Hamilton and Burr in it, and Burr had just killed Hamilton. The people went over to talk to him, unless that was in the
Was
same issue.
yeah, I think that was the same issue. Pretty sure it was the same
Okay,
issue.
my bad then. Never
Yeah,
mind.
I don't know. Whatever. Either way, it'll be good. I
Yeah.
so I saw I got that book on Friday whenever that stuff was delivered, and the B cover is so cool. It's Godzilla like out in the sea, um, and like two Viking longships are sailing out there next to him. And I was like, man, this cover was for
Nice.
me. It's so dope.
Yeah. All right, man. Olympics are going on, and I was just thinking to myself, what are 4 characters that you'd want representing Jakistan, Jake's country in the Olympics, and what games would they play?
Yeah, so I've got Roy Harper for archery. I'm gonna go with Strong Guy for the shot put. I We went out for lunch yesterday and the shot put was up on the TV at the restaurant. Those dudes are fucking units. It's
Right?
crazy. Um, this one just because I think it sounds silly. For judo, I'm gonna go with Judo Master.
Nice.
Seems like a safe bet. And then because I love golf, I gotta include golf here, and I'm gonna go with Sports Master.
So I haven't seen the picture yet, but just speaking of the golf, the guys that were playing golf, I guess, had to take their hats off when they were getting their medals, and they had been golfing all day. And so, like, I guess where their hat is, it's like fucking pale, and the rest of them is like super dark, and it looks, I guess, hilarious and like kind of just weird as hell too when they were up on
Yeah,
like the podium getting their awards.
yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like I'm pretty sure they have to wear hats because that's where they're advertising what
Yeah,
clubs they're using. So I've seen some one of my favorite golfers from when I was a kid. His name is Stuart Sink. He has a very famous photo that even the PGA Tour will repost like once a year, but it's him without a hat on, and he's bald. So like it's just egg white from here to the back of his head, and then
that's
like
hilarious.
red. It's so bad.
All right, so mine Hercules for wrestling because I mean that's a layup,
Hmm.
and then Swordmaster for fencing.
Okay.
Gotta win the golds that way. And I'm gonna say, um, I'll go Dick Grayson doing the floor routine and other gymnastic type stuff,
The pommel horse.
whatever that is. And then the last one, this is my favorite one I'm most proud of. Thor doing the hammer throw.
Oh man, that's a good one. I'm glad I didn't think of that too.
But guys, let us know down below what superheroes or bad guys that you would be in your country's Olympics that you would want to have,
Yeah.
and what games they'd play, and all the other stuff too.
All right. That brings us to the end of the episode, man. Any final thoughts before we close her out?
Um, I don't know. I hope Saga doesn't take another, like I said, another 2 years after this next issue.
Yeah. We got to get to 69 so that we can be children and giggle about it.
I hope that's where it ends. I just hope it ends at 69.
The whole story.
Yeah, Brian's just like, this is it. The end.
All right, guys. Well, we'd love to stay in chat, but Casey has to kill some people, and I have to say whether or not they're lying about something. So we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Two Worlds Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Two Worlds Pod, on Twitter at two_worlds_PC, and on Facebook at facebook.com/twoworldspodcast. You can email us with any questions or comments at twoworldspodcast@gmail.com, and if you would, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Two Worlds Podcast on YouTube.